Ladies and gentlemen, a new snapshot from Minecraft Java Edition 1.13 has been released. Here is 18W15A. This one contains another huge drop of new content for the next update, Update Aquatic. My name is SlySlime, come with me as we go through all of these new and fancy things. Let's start with dolphins. Dolphins have been added to the game. They spawn in any ocean biome that isn't frozen, and they are a playful new mob. They like to play with floating items, and they will also follow you when you ride around in a boat. They'll jump over the water surface, even between different bodies of water if they can, and if they are attacked, then they will attack as a pod in response to the attacker. There are new items as well in this version. There's a new item called Heart of the Sea. You can find this in the creative inventory currently, but you can currently not get it in survival mode. There's another new item as well. It's the Nautilus Shell. You can get this one in survival mode. It has a small chance of appearing in the offhand of a mob, and it can also be fished up as treasure while fishing. These two new items can be used to make a new block by crafting them together. It's the Conduit block. Conduit can be placed down, and when placed it's always surrounded by water, even when placed on land. My best guess is that this is a bug, because it also works in the Nether, so that is a way currently in the snapshot to get water into the Nether. Like I said, likely to change in my opinion. Conduit blocks emit light at level 15, and there is a related new effect. That's Minecraft Conduit Power. That's an effect that has the Heart of the Sea icon. The conduit is an active block that acts a little bit like a beacon in the sea. If you build rings around it of certain types of blocks, prismarine bricks and sea lanterns, then they will activate, and the more blocks you have in the rings, the more powerful the conduit becomes and the further its effect reaches. The effect this grants is underwater vision, which is the vision you had underwater in previous snapshots, and it also gives some form of underwater breathing and mining haste. If there are sufficient amounts of blocks in the rings for the conduit, it will also kill random monsters when they come into range. Finally, there's one more block added to this version. It's the blue ice block. And as we move into changes with the world generation and how the world works, we find the reason for those blue ice blocks. Icebergs now generate in frozen oceans. There's also a change to the world generator that means that in newly generated chunks you're less likely to find frozen ocean right next to warm ocean. Instead, the ocean biomes will be spread out more like they are on land, with smooth transitions. Another thing to note in this snapshot is that all chunks will be relit in an upcoming snapshot, and that is because light now goes much further through liquid blocks. Light levels used to decay by 3 every block that they went through, but now they only decay by 1 instead. And because the underwater vision that you had in previous snapshots is now a power of the conduit, the underwater vision is now gone, and underwater is a dark and scary place. Water now has different colors based on the biome, and every ocean biome has a unique water color, where swamps are icky and gross, and the tropical warm and nice oceans are tropical warm and nice. Together with this, the fog color underwater now changes much more smoothly as you switch between the biomes, and there is a biome blend distance video option to go with it. Together with that, the fog rendering that drives all of this has been optimized. There are also a bunch of fixes to errors in the world generation. Underground lava and water lakes and mob spawners would generate with air instead of cave air. Biome-specific structures would generate in the wrong biomes if you made a super flat world. And also inside generated structures, liquid that was generated there would not update properly. That is also fixed. In jungle biomes, vines would generate below the entire jungle at Y level 64. The new world generator also did not generate snow on top of trees in snow biomes. That has been fixed in this version. And seagrass and kelp and core plants would generate on crevices, and that has been fixed in this version. Some fixes for mobs in this version too. Zombie pigmen would get angry when you hit them even if you were in creative mode, and that's fixed in this version. Mobs that burn like skeletons or zombies did not burn if they stood in a double plant or were inside cobwebs. That's fixed in this version. And zombies would transform to drowned even if they were standing in waist-high water, and that is fixed in this version as well. Let's talk a little bit about fish too. There was no restriction on spawning of fish, so if you left a world for long enough it would inevitably crash from just too many mobs being spawned in. And if you burned a fish, it wouldn't drop cooked fish. Now the fish gets cooked immediately. Gameplay fixes too, let's keep going on the fish track. Fish buckets that you used in creative mode would still be used up, that's fixed in this version. And splash potions of saturation didn't have any effect, that is fixed as well. If you stripped a wood log, then its rotation would change. And the /locate command and Eye of Ender throwing could locate strongholds that didn't actually exist. They would show an invalid location, and that is fixed in this version. Sprinting and the swimming has had a bunch of fixes as well. If you released the sprint button, but you were in the air, then you would keep sprinting until you touched the ground again. That's fixed in this version. And if you hit the sprint button underwater, you could activate the swimming mode even if you were in spectator mode. When you were swimming, you were unable to swim through one high water gaps when there was a solid block placed above, that's fixed in this version, and swimming while touching the ground would shake the viewport if you had view bobbing enabled. A couple of user interface fixes too. When you saved the world, that game would freeze for a little while, and that's fixed in this version, and instead you now get a saving world message when you exit the single player game. Also a couple of translation or text fixes in the Turtle Master potions, and a couple of crash fixes in this version. One new bug that we know of already: there's something wrong with lava rendering in this snapshot. And while on the subject of bugs, let me remind you that these are development versions. They can be highly unstable, can crash your game or even corrupt your world. Don't expect to ever use your world again if you load it into this snapshot, so please, if you do try this version, do it on a test world or on a copy of your world. That said, if you do want to try it, head into your Minecraft launcher, go to the Launch Options tab and enable snapshots in there. You'll get a message, be sure to read that, then hit OK and go back to the News tab, where now in the drop-down box next to the play button you will have a latest snapshot profile. Select that, start the game, and now you'll be playing the latest snapshot, which is currently this one, 18W15A. And that was all for this time. My name is Sliced Lime, thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please help me out in return and leave a like. Until next time, take care, bye bye.